Did you guys even know that? What do they call it? The showdown was going on last night.
I don't know what that is.
And that's okay because I didn't until I hopped on the Breakfast Ball Instagram page. So last night, 2 nights ago, Tuesday, it was Bryson and Brooks against Scotty and Rory.
What?
In a 2v2. I don't know the exact format, but I didn't see if you're not on Instagram or social media, I don't feel like you would have seen this anywhere.
Yeah,
unless you're watching the Golf Channel.
I have
the Golf
no
Network.
fucking idea.
Yeah. Again,
Who won?
I don't. Scotty and Rory.
Right.
I do know that.
Hey,
So-
congrats to Scotty and Rory.
I think I don't know. I think there's probably maybe promo of these events has kind of taken a back seat with all the shit that's been going on with the PIF and PGA Tour deal.
It's also just a really tough time for sports that aren't football.
The
playoff season's ramping up.
Yes.
There's a ton of NFL drama. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard anything about basketball even really, and it's like in the meat of their season.
They just finished one of their in-season tournaments last night.
Yeah, now they got the NBA Cup.
Yep, it's
Like,
like
what's that all about?
It's honestly to try and get people to care about basketball in the middle of the season.
I know, but that tournament, no one cares about that tournament. Also, with the colored floors, I'm not a huge fan. of that.
No. There's some that are way too much and like an eyesore.
Dude,
it almost makes it look worse.
Why doesn't Boise State should have a blue golf course?
I hate Boise State's field so much.
Like,
Could you imagine any golf course that was the wrong color would fuck with me so bad?
Oh, for sure, dude. Golf is one thing where you cannot. Obviously, it'd be really hard. I mean, you could probably change the color of the greens.
Yeah, that would be. Think about how much maintenance that would be to keep the whole thing one color.
Dude, why don't they do turf greens ever?
I was just thinking about that. Like the easiest way to change the color of a green, obviously, you probably don't want to paint it or like grass spray paint.
It's a lot of work because you got to paint that like every 3 days.
Yeah, and you got people trampling all over it all day. But yeah, turf greens. I mean, playing on a turf baseball field many times, the baseball itself bounces like crazy. So I can only imagine like if you.
That's a dumb question by me.
If you're sticking greens like we normally do, I can about imagine like you'd probably have to land it at like the front, like the very front fringe of the green, just to take into account the bounce that it's going to take and the rollout up to the pin.
God, because I feel like turf has come a long way since the AstroTurf that I used to play on in high school.
Yep.
That they've got to have a pretty realistic dirt turf, you know?
Yeah, and some golfers too. Like I just saw another video of just an insane brawl on the golf course.
Why?
Again, I don't understand why people are brawling on the golf course. I'm here for it. I'm here for it because I love watching those videos, but I still can't understand why they're doing that.
The videos for me, I get a weird feeling when I watch them. It just makes me uncomfortable.
Well, the whole it's weird. What makes me feel really, really weird about it is like the duality of the sport. It's like this sophisticated game that like it's a gentleman's sport, you know, like respect the game. And then it's like the other side of things where people are just beating the shit out of each other for like whatever, like stupid stuff. Like very little.
Well, where I was getting at, was like if we did turf greens, like those guys would probably have to wear like the turf tape on their elbows.
Oh yeah.
Just in case something broke out on the green, you'd have to wear turf.
Maybe
tape.
football cleats too.
You ever wear that?
Cleats?
Do you ever wear that turf tape? That is the biggest fucking racket ever.
We only played. I only played football on turf 2 times. It was like Pee Wee football. We played in the Fargo Dome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we would, because we'd get one Fargo Dome game a year.
Yeah.
And then the section championship was in the Fargo Dome, which we never made it to. But turf tape, it was such a racket, dude. That shit came off the first time you hit the turf.
And it's like half of it's hanging off and like the guys just still keep it on. But yeah, like You want to talk about new golf inventions like we did last week? You just take football turf tape and put a golf ball on the packaging, and boom, there you go, new product.
And that's a surefire way to signal to all the other golfers on the course that you're ready to throw down.
For sure. Yeah. Noah, back to what you were saying in terms of like it being a gentleman's sport. I feel like the gentleman, can you call golf a gentleman's sport when all we're seeing online these days is brawls breaking out on the course. You have the hardos just coming out of the woodwork like the White Walkers come out of the woods in Game of Thrones. Like that's not being a gentleman to me.
No,
so is it even I feel like those are the hardos who are starting shit like that are the so-called gentlemen in the sport of golf.
It's an air quotes gentleman.
Because a gentleman's not like a true gentleman is not going to have that type of attitude or personality on a golf course.
Well, the way you're basically that's one of the main arguments for the shrink the game, folks, is that people are doing dumb shit on the course. But I would argue that every single one of those fight videos I've seen has somebody that absolutely fits the build of the shrink the game people.
For sure.
It's like the shrink the game people are the ones starting these fucking fights because they're so bent out of shape about other people being on their course.
And I also think if you take the group of shrink the game gentlemen, if you take them in a brawl versus like the new COVID golfers, I'm taking the new COVID golfers all day, because these new COVID golfers are these guys are former like football players or former athletes or what, like they're athletic people who just want something new to play and new to be competitive at. They're just not that good at it yet. I'm taking that group over the gentleman any day.
At the very least, too, it's a younger wave, a younger generation that like definitely started playing around that time.
Dude, if we lived we traveled back in time, took today's golf landscape, put it into 2004. MTV would make a show about golf course fights.
Oh, for sure.
MTV would have some sort of like, what would they call it? Back nine brawlers?
Something.
And they would just put two people on a green and let them fucking fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Rob Dyrdek's ridiculousness. You could have an entire show, or like Chive TV, that like the entire looping video of Chive TV or ridiculousness. It could just be golf course brawls.
Mm-hmm. That would be a television show.
America's funniest golf videos. And it's just all fucking golf course brawls. Mm-hmm. But hey, again, I'm here for it as a consumer of content. I'm here for it. But like you said, Todd, it makes me very uncomfortable too.
Yeah, watching it, I don't know. It's like a car wreck. I can't look away.
Because who breaks it up?
I don't feel good about watching it. But I don't stop watching it either.
I know. Same here.
Not to like damper the mood or anything, but I saw this happen like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know if it was, I think it was down south. Like
killed.
Yeah. Killed.
What?
Read that. Or I didn't read the article.
It was like a maybe 30, 40-year-old guy beat the shit out of like a 65-year-old guy with a club. Killed him.
Oh my
on the course
God.
Over I don't know what the scuffle was, argument, but he was charged with whatever degree, of murder, but he's just killed him. It's like, is it really that deep? It's not, I promise.
Does shit like this happen in pickup basketball and amateur baseball and beer league softball?
I know there's fights in beer league softball, but I've never heard of a death.
I've never heard. Yeah, I don't think it's ever been that.
I don't know. I think golf is killing beer league softball, to be honest.
I would kind of agree.
Yeah.
I feel like
for all the complaining we do about how hard it is to get a group of guys to play golf with you, it's much harder to get 11 guys to play slow pitch softball.
Dude, I know I have a buddy who will reach out to me occasionally asking if I want to play softball. And I can only imagine trying to get 9 guys together.
You got 10 guys on a field, you get 11 guys that hit.
Yeah.
So you need 11 dudes to field a full lineup.
Yeah, you got an extra outfielder. the thing is, it's on a set night and at a set time.
Right. That's
Where-
the only thing that makes it happen.
Correct. Well, but that's the thing though, is like golf is you can do it whenever.
Mhm.
So like if you do have shit going, it's just harder. It can be harder to plan around. Like
I also feel like that makes it easier to cancel on. Because like if all of a sudden I got to cancel on you for our Tuesday evening tee time, like, hey, just try to get one for Thursday.
yeah,
Can't do that.
you just reschedule.
It's harder to reschedule something that's every week at the same time.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Who breaks up these brawls on the golf course?
That's why I think there's deaths. No one's there the marshal can't be everywhere at once. And even if he is he going to jump in on 6 dudes beating the shit out of each other?
What's the youngest marshal you've ever seen?
70 years old.
Exactly. So
I think being a
respectfully, if it's like a group of 40-year-old dudes, even younger, maybe like getting in a brawl, he's not going to be able to do anything.
Well, and like, I feel like the position of being a marshal at a golf course has got to be on its way out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because you look at
They're going to be security guards soon.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. They're gonna be strapped.
There'd be pace of play officers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you look at, let's say, truck drivers, for instance. Like truck driving is, it's more of like, it's just an older generation that like truck driving back then isn't what it is now. It's like if people look down on truck drivers a lot, which they're very important for just the economy and what we do in
Supply chain.
But eventually that's probably going to be automated. And, there's no 20-some-year-olds, or not a lot of them, that are going to want to go out and be a truck driver because there's so many more opportunities to make money. I feel like same with a marshal, like eventually, unless it's like Social Security or Medicare, like once you hit 65, you can submit an application to be a marshal.
Yeah.
But at some point you got to think it's going to become automated, where you check in at a kiosk at tee box number 1 and it says like, hey, you're 4 minutes late. Like if you don't tee off now, then you like your
Well,
tee
they
time's
kind of already
canceled.
have that with some of those carts that tell you how far behind or ahead
Yeah.
of pace you're on.
Yeah.
And it gives you an alert to be like, hey, you're 15 minutes behind. You better hurry up or the marshal's going to come talk to you.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
That happened to us in Nashville like 10 times. We were behind this super fucking slow group. And it was me, Jake, and Miles. I actually really liked the slow group because they left really nice tees on every tee box. And I just pocketed 18 tees.
Okay. There's perks to it all.
But they were so slow and we could not get past them. And we were getting just barked at on our in-cart monitors.
Really?
Yeah, it was just alarm every tee box. It's like, you're 15 minutes behind. You are 17 minutes behind. You are 18 minutes behind. It's like, we can't fucking help it.
If I'm going to punch anything on the golf course, it's going to be that monitor on the fucking
Yeah.
carts. And like, technology is great and it's making huge strides, but get these things out of the car. Unless I can send messages from cart to cart, like we talked about last week, I'm out on them. I'm still out on them.
That message thing would be sick. I would love that.
That would be
Probably spark more turf brawls.
Oh,
but
for sure. Like, yeah. I can only imagine. I feel like when you get a gentleman and a gentleman, it then becomes a dick measuring contest. And then things that shouldn't be said probably come out into the air more. It's a weird dynamic on what's going on in the golf world right now. But it's that boomer generation.
Yeah.
It's them dang boomers.
I tell you what, though, all my young guys out there, be careful. They might be old, but they got heavy hands.
They do.
You got to be. They've been around the block. They know how to throw a punch. So
But also just like, don't let them.
don't also just stop getting in fucking fights in the course. Okay,
Yeah.
just quit.
Anyway, Jay Monahan out as CEO.
No
PGA.
shit. I am so unplugged. So we had the showdown last night, and Monahan's out.
Well, okay, Monahan is transitioning. From what I've read, and again, grain of salt. 95% accurate here on this podcast. Monahan's out as CEO. He's going to take over a new role within the PGA with this merger deal.
Gotcha. So is he still the head, or are they going to be putting someone else as head of PGA?
I think they're going to put someone else as the CEO of the PGA, but I don't know what position he's going into. We can maybe look it up.
People don't like him, right? Everyone's
people
pretty
hate
out
him,
on
too.
Monahan.
They fucking hate Jay Monahan.
Is there a commissioner of any major sports league that is liked? Because nobody fucking likes Goodell.
No, people hate Roger Goodell. Adam Silver, I don't watch enough NBA to know.
They don't like him.
Who's it? Rob Manfred for that MLB?
Couldn't tell you.
I believe it's
I don't
Manfred.
follow.
We could look that up real quick. Got a computer in front of you.
Oh, I trust you.
That's such a fucking
I know, but the
Ricochet
listeners
dig.
don't trust me at all. I don't watch enough baseball to know if Manfred's doing a good. I don't know. I think doing a good job in major sports is like, let's change the color of the course or field or arena that we're playing in.
Or let's completely change the rules. No matter how much it does for safety, let's be mad.
Yeah, let's be mad. Rob Manfred. There we go. I'm a baseball guy. I know that shit.
Since 2015.
And then Greg Norman will be out as CEO of Live.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
it sounds like it wasn't like they're forced out. This was
I think it's all happening with the merger.
yeah. So
the
just job duties are being shuffled.
correct.
Nobody has been like, Monahan, we hate you. You're gone.
Nope. As much as a lot of people, I'm sure, would say that, I don't believe that's the case.
So that there might be I can't think of a job that's more thankless. I cannot think of a single sports league commissioner that is like, even on a tiny minuscule scale, I stopped being commissioner of all of our leagues because I was tired of everyone fucking bitching.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Even like athletic directors at high schools.
Yeah.
Let's say they're like the CEO of sports in a high school. Like the ADs take a lot of heat.
Yeah. And our golf simulator league, I don't want to be the commissioner anymore because you guys are all fuckheads.
Yeah. So you never want to be in a position. It's also kind of like customer service. Like it's a position that you don't hear anything if someone has a good experience. You only hear something when someone has a bad experience, and you're the person they're going to bitch at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I handed off all my fantasy football commissioner duties. I handed off the golf sim commissioner duties. I'm probably going to have to take that back up because there's no one else here that wants to do it.
Yeah.
But I also want a league. And everyone hates Goodell. Everyone hates Monahan.
I think
it might be being a commissioner of any kind might be the worst job.
I think it's like a shtick for like the whole like fan base or whoever, like even if it's just a fantasy football league, like everybody in the league, like it just like no matter how much you hate someone or hate, another fan base, you all hate the commissioner. And it just kind of brings you together a little bit. Yeah. So think about like when Goodell comes out at the NFL draft, every single fan boos him.
That's true.
And he embraces it. He like as soon as he started embracing it, I feel like people started to like him a little bit. Like he understands the joke.
Yeah. He's becoming the guy. What movie is this? Where the dad purposely just starts being the coach starts being a fucking prick to unite the players against him.
Varsity Blues.
No, that guy was just a piece of shit. He wasn't doing that.
But it like
intentionally.
united the play. It kind of united the team.
Oh, it's in Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay.
When he does his alter ego, Led Tasso.
The ex-husband too.
Yeah,
The
Ted purposely acts like a dickhead for an entire practice to get all the players to hate him.
Sure, okay.
And they start to bond together.
Yep.
Kind of like Miracle too.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, Herbie.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's a good thing. I make everyone hate the commissioner so there's cohesiveness within the league itself.
Yeah.
Be on an island so everyone else can be on solid ground.
Yeah, I just saw the CEO of the NCAA was just getting grilled on C-SPAN the other day. Dude, I love watching people getting grilled on C-SPAN. Obviously, I'm not watching C-SPAN, but the clips on TikTok that
it's pretty
pop up.
unfiltered for the most part. Like they'll just let it rip. On
like the USPS CEO was just getting fucking drilled on C-SPAN. It's a senator from Missouri that's drilling all of them.
There's the Boeing one. The Boeing.
Yeah, the airlines
was getting
cooked. Him, the Spirit Airlines guy, the senator from Missouri.
He's like, honestly, your airline's shit.
Your airline is dog shit, pretty much.
That was like he might have even said like, excuse my language, but it's like it is
terrible.
Yeah, it's shit. Like he was saying it without saying it.
I do not want to be a commissioner of anything.
No.
I don't know if Monahan's 23 million would be worth the amount of hate that he gets. Because, like, yes, you're going to die with all this money, but you're going to die with everybody hating you.
No,
too.
this conversation has made me kind of second guess my dislike of commissioners. I maybe feel for them a little bit now.
Probably because they're the only ones that take the heat.
Because nobody talks about any rules changes that they did that they like, because they just fade into obscurity. People only ever bitch about the things that change that they hate.
Well, yeah,
That's all you ever hear about is the hate.
And I feel like there hasn't really been any heat on Rob Manfred that I know of, anyways, of the MLB, because the MLB is just, it's consistent. They did they implemented the rule of the pitch clock, which I think people, I think more people liked it versus disliked it because it speeds the game up a little bit. But eventually, Rob Manfred is probably going to be under some heat because people just haven't bitched about him enough lately. So his time is coming.
I just only hear bad things. Like I'm thinking mostly of the NFL, right? Like all the helmet technology. People just talked about how dumb the helmets look, like the Guardian caps.
Yep.
Nobody's talking about how they actually save brains.
Yeah.
They're just talking about how stupid they look.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know that's a rule he didn't change. That's something that the NFL just like allowed.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you can wear these if you want.
They tested the new kickoff rule, which like I totally agree with too. It's like obviously
But they tried something. Kickoffs are boring as shit. But
and they are.
And all you hear people are like, nothing freaking changed. They're all touchbacks still. Like,
it's like they're trying.
They did something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of wild, man.
I might be fucking pro commissioner now. I might be a Monahan and Goodell guy now.
Oof, Jesus. I don't know. I feel like people in those positions making that type of money are snakes in the grass.
Yeah, but also
like a majority of them are snakes in the grass.
I don't know if they're snakes or they're just someone's got to do the job.
Jay Monahan, didn't he agree to the PIF merger without telling anybody?
Yeah,
he's a snake in the grass.
What hindsight? What if he would have told people? Would they have been happier? Or would they have been up in arms and then it never happens? And maybe it's something that needed to happen.
I mean, I think there would have been more open dialogue about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying that's the position I would not have wanted to be in.
But without all this, like we wouldn't have the full swing Netflix seasons like we had.
I'm gonna start giving the commissions a little grace.
Like think about what I love the most about Dave Portnoy is when he absolutely goes in on Roger Goodell. Like wasn't it like there was an auction? There was an auction to win tickets to watch a game in Roger Goodell's basement or something.
Yep. I think during COVID
or something. Yeah. And Portnoy won the auction, but then Goodell canceled on him.
Yeah.
How like the content that comes out of that is electric.
They're the ones that sell the Goodell clown nose shirts.
Yeah. Yeah. So we wouldn't have the entertaining clips and content that we have without CEOs and commissioners.
Hey, all I'm saying, you remember the commercial campaigns in like mid 2000s that were like supporting referees? Like without referees, there would be no sports.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Without commissioners, we would have no major sports leagues. So think about that.
Or at least no change in them.
Yeah.
They may be able to exist, but it's like,
we may not have the head of any sports league is the one going to take heat. It just happens to be the title of commissioner.
Yep.
So, anyway.
Wow. We're really grown as people so far in this episode.
This is crazy.
I have anyway. I don't know about you guys, how you feel.
Just talking through that, I saw I see the standpoint a little bit of them and why they're all able to take a lot of heat. So,
yeah.
So anyway, Monahan out.
Norman out. Unless Norman is going to transition to PGA Tour commissioner, which would be sick.
That would be hilarious. He became the CEO of the PGA after all this shit.
Yeah. Noah, you had a hypothetical for us. Or more so just a guy needed some advice.
Yeah. Should we take a break first?
Yeah, I think we should.
I think this is a good
I need some water.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we get into the next segment, we got to tell you a little bit about our boy Nicolay Law.
We do. Russell. Hey, Russell.
Russ Nicolay. Kind of like a Russell Wilson on his best game.
Russell Nicolay is always on his best game.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
He's a
When
Russell-
Russ Wilson comes in and throws 400 yards and like is going to lead the Steelers to the playoffs and it may be a deep run. It's like what Russell Nicolay does in every court case.
And having Russell Nicolay on your team is like having Russell Westbrook on your
Prime.
team. It's a Russell Nicolay up.
We'll be more specific with prime Russ Westbrook.
We're talking
Yeah.
triple double,
Yeah.
record breaking.
Yes.
Russell Westbrook.
I don't know anything about basketball, but I know Russell Nicolay is a record-breaking lawyer.
I mean, we could also,
He has awards to prove it.
and
He
we
does.
could Bill Russell also has awards to prove that he's
Oh,
one of the
yes,
greatest
he-
of all time, by
yes,
like
he
top
does.
10 for sure.
He's also like a Jack Russell Terrier, relentless,
Yeah.
loyal.
Yeah. You know, this top that I'm wearing is Russell Athletics and it is awesome.
That one was a
I mean,
stretch.
It actually,
Is it actually Russell?
yeah.
Yeah, it
right
is.
here.
Nice.
Russell Outdoors.
Mhm.
So, I mean, with every Russell comes every tussle in the courtroom.
So if you're ever injured, why don't you go rustle up some help? Call Russell Nicolay or go to nicolaymlaw.com.
.com.
Anyway, Noah, you got a message you'd like to read us from
Yeah.
one of the listeners, one
Yeah.
of the fans of the page.
Yeah. This is from Logan. He goes, fellas, longtime fan here, 31 male, size 14, will send banana for verification and scale if necessary.
I fucking love that bitch.
Size
So-
14.
Right. Incredible opener from Logan here. That's what caught my attention immediately.
Size 14
Was
shoes
the
are
banana
not-
for reference?
Yeah, so like obviously I'm intrigued. I'm gonna look at this and I figure out that that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's a great. Yeah, you need banana for scale.
Yeah. Logan here has a predicament. So with winter being here, I have quite the predicament heading into next year's golf season. I'm wanting to replace a scramble team partner, but I'm friends with the one I'm wanting to cut. What is the best way to approach this situation?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first interesting thing is so it said he just started golfing.
So here's the clarification at the end here. He says, performance on the course is only part of the reason that he wants to change. He's the type of person that
Sorry, the guy who's sending the message. Did he just start golfing?
no,
Okay,
I
okay,
don't,
okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so it's a two-parter. Let's do the first part first.
Let's do it.
He wants to get rid of this buddy in his scramble group. Okay, so here is what I would do if you want to get rid of someone in your scramble group without any ruffling any feathers, if you will. You got to get their schedule. You ask that guy that you want out of your group, like, hey, man, what do you got coming up in the next month? And then just leave it at that. And then when he says he's super busy one weekend, schedule a tournament. You're going to have to replace him. It's not his fault. He's got something going on. It's not your fault. He's got something going on. You have to replace him for that tournament. And then you tell him the next scramble tournament, like, hey, man, we signed up for another one and you weren't there because we were playing with Rick. Now he's in next week. I'm sorry. So you just wait until that there's an opening where he cannot play. You replace him and he'll understand. You can't kick the guy out you just played in a scramble with.
Yeah, so you can't give a definitive date. Like
No, you give him
can't-
0 dates.
You can't reveal the date that you are inquiring about. You more so give him the month and what he has going on, as if you're going to schedule around what he has going on. Now, say if it's August and you're like, hey man, what do you got going on in the month of September? And he's like, okay, well the weekend of September 21st, I have, I'm going to be out of town for this baptism of my niece. Okay, and you're like, oh god.
Damn.
That was the one weekend I was hoping that you wouldn't say you had anything going on because we have XYZ scramble on that date. So, I was hoping you could make it, but we're either just not going to do it or like, we'll see if I don't know. It's going to be tough to find a fourth man, but I don't know. We might not.
No one
even
can
do
replace
it.
you, but I really want to play, so we'll try.
Yeah.
Here's-
And then as soon as he's like, oh God, I wish I could make it, but I have to go to this baptism. You text the other three that are already locked and loaded.
Mhm.
Boys, we made it happen.
Well,
September 21, we have the biggest scramble of our lives.
Or you give it like a good 2 hours before you respond to him. And because then if he changes his mind, he's like, oh, wait, actually, I am free that weekend. Like, oh, shit, dude, I wish you'd have told me sooner. I already filled that 4th spot. Damn it.
That's a good.
Damn, dude.
Yep, that's a good little piece of advice as well.
I think that a good way to handle this too would be to, I know he says that he only plays during these scrambles, but you need to get him on the course in a casual setting. Now, maybe a way to do that is say, hey, we got a scramble coming up, 2 weekends from now, and you sell it to him as a scramble. And then the day before you say, shoot, these 2 guys, the other 2 guys that we were supposed to play with just bailed. And then, you two just go hit the course and play a little bit more of a casual round. And, maybe that'll loosen him up a little bit. Cause I feel like if you're only playing during scrambles, I mean, not to excuse the wild behavior, but it's like, pressure probably feels a lot higher when you're only playing in like a competitive setting.
You need to get this dude some practice so he quit spazzing so much.
Yeah, you
don't want him to practice during your competitive round.
Yeah, you need to get him out of the team environment because it doesn't seem like he's a team guy.
No.
So let him just fly solo during a casual Saturday morning stroke play round.
Also, I mean, if you're close with this dude, I don't think there's anything wrong with a come to Jesus moment of being like, hey, you are being a buzzkill. None of us care how well we do in this scramble. You're ruining the fun. And if you looked at me and told me that, I would change my fucking attitude. I might be grumpy that you said that to me for like 5 minutes. And then I'd be like, he's right. I got to get a beer in me and settle the F down.
Yeah. I mean, what I would do is I just wouldn't even I would just get 3 other guys. Okay, take this for what it is. I would just don't even tell him that you're playing in a scramble tournament. How's he going to find out?
No, it sounds like they have their main 4. The other 2 might leak it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you obviously got to have a conversation with those 2. And I'm assuming if what's our guy's name?
Logan.
If Logan is concerned about the vibes in his group on the decline, I would assume the other 2 in the group are also probably on board with that.
I would agree.
Because when it comes to a scramble team, it's got to be a majority decision. It can't just be one guy making decisions for the group without consultation.
Yeah, and it sounds like Logan is the middleman between 2 separate friend groups.
Okay,
and the way
tough.
that it's worded here is like he's friends with the one he's wanting to cut. So I'm just assuming here, but it sounds like he might have 2 separate friend groups here with the other 2 partners.
Gotcha.
And the other 2 partners may not be friends with the one guy,
that's
except
even better.
Logan.
That's even better because then you put it all on the other two guys. Like you just deflect any sort of confrontation about kicking Logan's buddy off the team over to the other 2 guys. Hey, hey man, Rick and Bill over here, they filled the 4th spot for this scramble with one of their good buddies from work. They've been telling him they're going to invite him for a long time.
Yeah.
And finally got him in. So,
and you are a douche on the course. So we don't want you to come.
Transparency is always the best. Now it's tough to do that sometimes. The other thing that runs through my mind is our wives always wonder why we can never remember shit that's going on. And this is a great example because it's wintertime. The courses that it sounds like Logan's golf courses are probably closed. And he's thinking about how to boot one of his scramble players out
in months from now.
Which, he's not going to get a scramble tournament for months. And he's already thinking about strategy to boot this guy out of his group and get somebody new, and that's going to be a better time.
Yeah. Question aside, Logan, you got your priorities straight.
That's what happens when you catch the itch too.
Yeah.
It is quite literally all you think about.
Mm-hmm. So good on you, Logan.
It's like he's like a sports GM here. He's making some off-season moves.
Yep.
He's got to make some tough decisions. Maybe you got to cut the veteran that, he's a fan favorite, but he's withering out. He's just not there anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like your buddy's Kirk Cousins. A little bit of a bad egg in the locker room at this point in time. His worth His age is above his worth right now. His talent level is apparently not there.
Yeah.
Because he's taking Tuesdays off. But yeah, I would really consider just replacing him and rolling the dice. Because like we talked about in the first segment, sounds like you're the commissioner of your friend group.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to make the hard decisions and live with the hate.
Wow. We just tied 2 segments together. That is incredible.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's great practical advice, Tyler.
So you're gonna have to cut him one way or another. You can tell him to his face, or you can do it behind his back. But either way, you're the one dealing with the consequences, and it sucks. But someone's got to do it.
I feel like also, if you end up doing it behind his back, in the short term, gonna be fine. Sounds like he still wants to be friends with this guy.
Right.
And I feel as though if you snake him like that, the friendship might just be done.
Well, yeah,
which if you're okay with, all right then. But
yeah, and again, I think if you throw it on the other 2 guys in the group, like you make the other 2 guys in the group the new commissioners of the group.
Yeah, pass it off. Pass off the responsibility.
Pass off the torch, because then what you can do is you don't even need to tell your buddy that you're playing in a scramble tournament. If he does find out, then it's like, I
don't know. I'm not in charge.
Yeah, Bill and Rick, they invited me to the scramble tournament. They said they needed one more guy, and I don't know. Like I'll talk to him to see like if we can if they want to get you in on the next one, but it's kind of out of my hands now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of along for the ride, man.
Pass the torch.
And in this second part here, he gives a little bit of context and like digs into like the things that like this is why he wants to replace him. He just says that like kind of mentioned he only plays during these scramble tournaments. So we've talked about this before where
the guy he wants to boot only plays during scrambles.
Correct. We've talked about this before where you have no right to get upset about your play if you only play 2 or 3, 4 times a summer.
Yep.
It's just like you're not putting in the work, so why are you expecting results?
Yep.
But says that he gets pissed and he either makes a scene, does like the club breaking / throwing, or just gets completely quiet and kills all the vibe that has built up throughout the entire thing. So even if he's not making a scene, just like the silent thing, that sucks too.
Oh yeah. I don't know. What would you rather have? Somebody busting a club over their knee and then they're over it, and then they're back to happy-go-lucky, good for vibes, or someone that's silent but isn't causing a scene?
I would absolutely rather have a club breaker. Because number one, yeah, you can get a giggle out of it, and like you have every right to giggle without them getting mad at you because they just broke a club. Like that's funny. Okay. And then at the same time, I feel like when if you do break a club, you realize pretty quick how big of an idiot you just look like. Versus if you're just silent and don't make a scene, it's going to take a lot longer to realize how big of an idiot you look like.
Yeah. I think the anger output is totally fine if you are able to laugh at yourself after. So if you take 10 seconds where you just say the most absurd shit or you break something, whatever, as long as it's not somebody else's and you're not harming the course, and you're able to just be like, make a joke after, that's totally fine. And then you can get back in the cart and laugh about it. Be like, man, I'm playing like shit today. But like the whole, you shut down. It just feels like you don't even want to be there. It's like, just go home then if you're not going to be present.
Honestly, I think if this guy's pulling shit like this, you gotta like point it out to him. Be like, dude, you are sucking the life out of this. Or, I mean, I say that, but I would never fucking do that.
Yeah, it's not.
I would just make sarcastic shithead comments to him.
But you usually golf with people who you can say shit like that to.
Yeah, but
I think that's the important thing.
I'm thinking he doesn't do this nearly as much because I think he's grown. He's probably listened to this podcast. Miles used to just shut down and get super silent and pissed off, and it was awful because not only is he like, he's our boss too, so it's like you can't say anything to him.
Know.
And half the times I golf with him, he paid for the round.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like say anything to him.
Yeah.
But like, God, I forget where I was going. It really is. It's like I would make kind of smart ass jabs to try to point it out to him rather than being like, hey, you're kind of being a buzzkill. I would be like, hey, at least you didn't bounce it off 3 trees. You know?
Yeah, I usually wait till it gets to a laughable point.
Yeah.
If it like as it keeps going on and on and on of like shit shot after shit shot, maybe after the 4th or 5th one, I'll be like, that was a really bad shot.
Yeah.
And then like just
or like I'll say, I think I've said this exactly too. I'm like, you'll hit one super fat and be like, I think you missed some of the fairway with that swing. If you want to go back and try and hit that too.
Yeah. Or I'll wait till I have a shitty shot and then I'll make it like a group thing. I'll be like, we fucking suck. So then like it's not just directed at him, it's directed towards the both of us. Yeah, that's how I usually approach. He's gotten a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, it was tough for a year or two there.
Yeah.
But I think it's gotten better too because he's practiced and doesn't suck nearly as much.
Yeah,
I agree.
I've never got to see that type of golfer in Miles, and I've only seen him in the simulator too. He gets very like he's locked in and he's very competitive, but I've never seen him get like
Miles was almost on this page. With the first ever breakfast ball video we shot, I beat him and then he didn't want to be on breakfast ball anymore.
That was tough.
Imagine where breakfast ball would have been if you wouldn't have beat him. Like what this would be.
The landscape would be entirely different. Yeah. Everything had to click that day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
To kind of piggyback off all this scramble talk, I have a message pulled up from our boy Derek Becker.
Hey, Dirk.
And he says, new golfer. Just started and he doesn't have banana for reference, if you were wondering. I also don't know how
Derek,
old he is
or
what his shoe size is.
You got to drop the stats first, my guy.
We don't know much about Derek besides the following. New golfer. Just started the beginning of this summer. Have been doing stroke play with a lot of leeway. Nothing competitive as our group is all newbies. For the first time, we decided to scramble this past Sunday, and the vibes were so much higher than any other time we've golfed. I didn't even play my best, but had the most fun yet.
Mm-hmm.
The cheering on the greens for making putts was electric. We're always supportive of each other as we're all new nonetheless, but playing on a team was a different experience entirely. That's pretty, and he does ask a question, what is your guys' favorite way to golf as a group? We've answered that many times. That's scramble golf.
Yep. Hands down.
But Derek just confirmed like him as a newbie, plus all of his newbie golf friends playing in a scramble, most fun, most electric time ever when everybody's having a good time. When you get one bad apple from the tree, from I was going to Adam and Eve reference there. I couldn't spit it out.
There's an old phrase. I forget what the phrase is, but it's like one bad apple can spoil the bunch, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's something along those lines. I don't know if that's exactly it, but it's 100% accurate in this case. Like you could have 3 guys having a really good time, and then that 4th could ruin it all.
Yeah.
So it is important to pick the right scramble team. So I get this guy's issue. Like it is something you need to address, or it just ruins it for everybody. And scrambles are not free ever. No. You got to pay to be in these things.
They're
so
pricey.
Why spend money to have a bad time because of one person?
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like the ceiling is just too high for scrambles. Like the amount of fun you can have is way too high to like have someone just damper everybody's mood.
Yeah, imagine if you take a day off of work for this scramble tournament, and you got fucking ding dong over here who's giving you the silent treatment or breaking clubs over the cart. It's like, this is not how I expected to spend a PTO day.
Right. This is supposed to be fun and relaxing. And like to that dude's message, Derek's point, the feeling in a golf scramble when somebody makes the last putt or somebody makes a really big long putt, you can't beat it. No. It's the best feeling in golf, in my opinion. For a regular guy, that is the best feeling you can reach in golf.
Yeah.
Is when someone on your scramble team sinks an important putt. Everybody's high-fiving. You forget all sorts of etiquette. Everybody's just in the moment cheering their asses off. It's almost euphoric.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like we've talked like the best feelings in golf before, puring an iron, yada, 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 stuff like that, right? Not even close. Doesn't hold a candle to somebody making an important putt in a scramble.
I
And it doesn't
agree.
even need to be you. Like, honestly,
No.
I almost think it might be more fun being the witness to it rather than the guy that made it, because the guy that made it is just kind of like smiling, like, what do I
Yeah.
do? But then his buddies hype him the fuck up, and it's an awesome feeling. So
I agree.
if you have somebody stealing that moment from you in your scramble group, whatever you got to do, our advice or not, get rid of them.
Yeah, you could just fucking kick his ass on the course too.
You could.
Yeah.
You could just
Things are trending that way.
And
could
record it.
just beat the living piss out of him.
He won't want to come back then.
Beat the living. No, don't beat the living piss out of him.
I just
Don't do that, Logan. Yeah, again, size 14. I would not want that up my ass. Nor would your buddy probably.
No.
So, yeah, definitely don't do that. But do what you gotta do, my guy.
I just had a realization though about this whole situation.
Oh, really?
It's just like if they understand that he's not good at golf, obviously, and they're like he's part of their scramble team, the other three must be pretty damn good, or at least above
Yeah,
average.
what is this
So
dude
why is-
even bringing to the group?
So that, and like, why is he getting all that upset
'Cause he's not
in the first place if they're not taking?
Because he
any of your-
doesn't give a shit about the team. He only cares about himself.
He's not a good time. It's apparent that he's not a good time.
Yeah, so he's not a good time.
He's not good at golf.
He's not good at golf.
the me over team kind of guy.
Get him off your Scrabble team ASAP, dude. And I know he's already come to this realization. He's asking us how to do it. So he knows this guy's got to go.
Yeah. Send him this podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Send
We'll
him the
solve it
podcast.
for you.
Oh yeah.
And then there's nothing on you when it comes to the conversation. It's
And
all
I'm
us.
pretty sure Noah said your full first and last name. So
I mean,
no, you don't need to edit it out. Send it to him so this guy knows exactly that it's his friend Logan talking
Yeah,
about him.
and he knows that he'll have a size 14 banana for scale up his ass if he doesn't leave this, if he doesn't resign immediately
maybe
without pay from the scramble team.
Or change his attitude. You can maybe give him one more chance after showing him this podcast. Give him one more chance to change his attitude. And if he doesn't, he's gone.
maybe we could
Yeah.
shrink this into like a 15-second cameo, and like Logan can reach out and you guys can just be like, "Hey, this is from your buddy Logan. Quit being a bitch during scrambles."
Yeah,
Yeah, or you're off the
Yeah.
team.
I like it.
You want to get cut? So
You want to
hopefully,
get cut with this fucking 4-iron?
yeah. You want to take Noah's retractable spikes to the dome?
Yeah.
You want to take this fucking poor man's golf? What are the 2 golf balls with the string in the middle?
Balls on a bedpost, horseshoe golf.
Yeah, poor man's golf, whatever.
Yeah, there's like 150.
You want to
names
take
for
one of
that.
those up your
Horseshoe,
ass,
Yeah.
buddy?
Yep.
God, I am so intimidating. We gotta
I'm
end this
I am
podcast.
so
Otherwise,
terrified.
I wouldn't want to meet you up on the green and tussle.
you wouldn't want to meet me on the poor man's golf course either, because if you're
What is the poor man's golf course? Are you talking about the
talking
game?
about the ladder game?
No.
Ladder.
testicles.
Testicle toss, ladder golf,
Anyway,
balls on a bedpost, horseshoe golf. It is the most annoying game of all time because it can't figure out what it wants to be fucking called.
same with cornhole.
Cornhole is cornhole or beanbags. There's only 2 options.
Bags.
Okay, we gotta end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, love you all. See you next week. Next week, 2024 golf season recap. Rounds played, money spent, times had. We'll see you in the next one.
Homework for Noah is to find last year's episode and write down the numbers we said.
Yup.
I suspect mine to be significantly lower this year.
Me too.
All right, love you.
Love you all.
Love it.